friends. How are you today? So good to see you as always. Today, we have a very special guest, Cady Parliman, who is a licensed social worker and psychotherapist. Did I get it right?
You got it. You got it.
I wrote it down.
Yeah. Good job. That's important. Yeah.
And you're with Oaks Counseling, correct?
Yes.
All
Oaks
right.
Counseling Associates.
We're past
Yeah.
1,000 so far. We're good. So tell me about your practice. What do you specialize in? It's this area of medical treatment is fascinating to me.
Yeah. So, like you said, I am a member of Oaks Counseling Associates. We are a group practice. 610 and Ella is where we're located. There's 4 therapists that work here. Most of them are part-time. I'm here full-time. So we all kind of specialize in different things. My area is primarily adult women. So I see mostly, I'm going to throw out, some terms here, Gen Z and millennial women. Those are who I see most commonly. And they're dealing with things like relationship issues. That's a big thing that brings people into therapy, right? So I've seen a lot of people who are like mid-divorce or thinking about divorce, and that's kind of like the catalyst for them to come in and see someone. So relationship issues, anxiety and stress, right? Especially as it relates to job and career and managing all of that burnout. And then the area I want to kind of focus my practice on moving forward is more trauma. So and that can be, I think people struggle with that definition. So it's like your, car accidents, big T traumas, but also little things too. Grief and loss, that's a big one as well. So that's kind of the breadth of what I see personally.
And it's so important. I am a depression sufferer, and I understand the importance of good mental health. So tell us why mental health is so important. Because if you broke your leg, you would go to the doctor.
Yeah.
So tell us about why mental health is so important.
Yeah, it affects everything we do in life, right? And I think seeing a therapist is so important. I'd like to think of it as, like going to get your oil changed, right? You don't wait until your car's, out of oil and your engine is heating up and your car's destroyed, right? We want to catch these things before they become these big problems in our lives. So I think of focusing on our mental health as preventative. I think a lot of people have the misconception that you wait until there's this big terrible thing that has happened, but really seeking out support with day-to-day stuff is so important. And I think what makes the therapeutic relationship so unique is that I'm not, invested in the nuances of your life like your husband or your best friend or your mom, right? So I come from a very unbiased perspective, and really my goal is just to give you the space to explore what you need to explore, right? To talk about your depression without having like a personal, stake in what that means in my life, right? So yeah, I think physical health is so important, of course, but I think sometimes I'm here to like advocate for mental health being equally as important, because in some ways we exist in the shadows, right? And until recently, it was like, you don't really talk about it, right? You can't say it out loud because it means something bad, right? So yeah, I think that's why, to me, it's so important on both a personal and professional level.
Well, I love that because you are holding a space and you're giving someone an objective outlook, and you're not the husband or the best friend who will
Yeah.
tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, but there is a
Yeah.
bias. So you provide a safe, warm, welcoming space for someone to talk through. And I got goosebumps when you were describing it, because it really is it's so important. And we didn't talk about it for a long time. It was like so taboo to be, need counseling. But now I'm hopefully the tides are changing. Do you think COVID had anything to do with that?
I think so. And I think we're still just at the cusp of seeing how that has impacted everyone, right? Because our heads are kind of coming out of the sand, life is returning to some semblance of normalcy. And so, everyone was kind of just surviving those 2 years where things were, shut down and kids were at home and everyone was working from home. And now that we're like back into a normal, I'm using air quotes here because I don't really know if it'll ever be quite normal, routine. I think now we can finally kind of look back and be like, wow, this is so much has changed in my life, right? And I have a lot of things that I haven't dealt with from that time period. So yeah, I think in a lot of ways it was pushed people into therapy, which I hate that we all went through that. I am also grateful that people are seeking services now.
It's so important. I know I'm not a doctor, but I understand how important it is. So
I agree.
if someone's on the fence going, well, I don't know, maybe I don't know if I need to see someone, what would you say?
Um, I think everyone should go to therapy. So I think yes, right. And like I said, I think I just had a first session with someone recently where she was like, I have this perception of people that go to therapy and that wasn't me. Right. And yet we're looking at her life and we're like, you probably need to talk to someone about these things, right? And someone that's not your partner, your sister, or best friend, right? So yeah, I think if you're on the fence, I think if we took an honest look at our life and really thought about what we wanted more of, having someone to facilitate that space for us is really important. So, and on that note, I always offer new clients a free 15-minute consult. So they can chat with me and ask all these questions for themselves, no charge to them, and kind of give them some things to think about if they're worried about what that next step looks like. So.
And it is a very personal relationship, even though you're objective. So you need to find a good fit for you. And I'm telling you, Katie's lovely. So,
Thank you.
and,
Yeah.
and warm and honest and caring. So
Yeah.
you're very good hands. So,
Thank
all
you.
right, huh?
I said
Oh,
thank you.
oh, you're welcome. So what's the best way to reach you? Email or phone or a combination of the both? And you're going to have to spell your email.
Okay. So email is my first name, Cady at oakspllc.com. Our let me pull up our practice phone number because I don't know it off the top of my head. Give me 1 second.
I know my phone number and Mark's phone number, and that's it.
Yes.
So
Our practice office phone number is 281-888-0578. And then I am on Instagram. That's where I do a lot on my own. So my Instagram handle is Therapy with Cady. My first name, Cady. I post a lot of the same things I talk about in therapy. So it's like a free resource I try to provide to the community. So you can find me there as well.
oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to go follow you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your guidance. And do not be afraid to go to therapy.
No,
No.
it's not as scary as you think, and the first session is always the one that people are most anxious about. Once we get through the first one, we're good to go. So yeah.
Contact Cady. Very good. Well, very good. Thank you so much. My friends, be safe and be well. And we will see you very soon. Bye. Thank you.